Alright guys, let me hit you with a question. When do women find you the most desirable? You might be thinking it's when you're at the gym, working on your body, or when you're dressing sharp for that night out. But here's a secret most men completely miss. It's not about any of that. In fact, 95% of men have no idea when women are secretly the most attracted to them, and it's often in moments you wouldn't expect. Want to know what those moments are? Stick with me, because by the end of this video you'll understand the psychological triggers behind female desire. Once you know these, you'll stop chasing attraction and start attracting effortlessly. So let's dive in. What are the hidden moments that make women desire you the most, and why do most men completely overlook them? Let's uncover the psychology behind it. Before we get into the psychology secrets, let's talk about where most guys go wrong when it comes to attraction. A lot of men believe that women are mainly drawn to external things: looks, money, status. Now, don't get me wrong, those things can help in some situations, but they're not what really sparks a deep desire in women. Here's why. Think about it. Have you ever seen a woman go crazy over a guy who isn't the best looking, who doesn't have a flashy lifestyle, but still, women are drawn to him like a magnet? How does that happen? The answer is psychology. Most men spend way too much time focusing on external factors: what they look like, how much money they have, or even how many Instagram followers they've got. But real attraction happens at a much deeper level. It's psychological, emotional, and often subconscious. You see, the biggest mistake men make is thinking that attraction is something you need to perform. But the truth is, women are most drawn to men when they least expect it, when you're not trying to impress them, when you're relaxed, and when you're just being yourself. And that brings me to the first psychology secret: women desire you the most when they see glimpses of your authenticity. Now, I know that sounds simple, but stay with me, because there's much more to it than just being yourself. So let's break this down. Why is authenticity such a powerful trigger for desire? Here's the deal: women are constantly bombarded with men trying to impress them, guys who are putting on a show, acting like someone they're not just to get her attention. And trust me, women can see through that in an instant. They can tell when you're being genuine and when you're not. The moment you stop trying to perform and just relax into who you are, that's when her desire kicks in. You're no longer just another guy trying to win her over. You're a man who's comfortable in his own skin, who doesn't need her approval to feel good about himself. And that is incredibly attractive. Let me tell you a quick story to illustrate this. There was this guy, let's call him Mark. Mark wasn't the best looking guy in the room, and he wasn't the most charismatic either, but every time he walked into a room, women noticed him. Why? Because Mark wasn't trying to be anyone but himself. He wasn't loud, he wasn't flashy, but he was completely at ease. Women could sense that calm confidence, and it made him stand out. Here's the takeaway: women desire men the most when they feel like they're getting the real you. Authenticity creates an emotional connection, and that connection is what sparks deep attraction. Now, let's take this a step further. If authenticity is the foundation of attraction, here's where things get even more interesting: vulnerability. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, being vulnerable. Isn't that a sign of weakness? Not at all. In fact, vulnerability is one of the most misunderstood aspects of male-female dynamics. Here's the truth: women desire you the most when they catch a glimpse of your vulnerable side. But before you start thinking you need to spill your deepest secrets on the first date, let's clarify what I mean by vulnerability. I'm not talking about oversharing or being overly emotional. I'm talking about those moments when you let your guard down just enough to show her that you're a real human being, not some perfect, untouchable guy. When a woman sees that you're not afraid to show a little vulnerability, it signals to her that you're secure in who you are. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're on a date, and the conversation turns to a topic that's a little personal. Instead of dodging it or pretending like you've got everything figured out, you share a story about a challenge you overcame. You talk about how it shaped you into the man you are today. That moment of honesty shows her that you're not afraid to be real, and that's incredibly attractive. Why? Because vulnerability creates emotional intimacy. It shows her that you trust her enough to let her see the real you, and that builds connection faster than anything else. 95% of men miss out on this because they're too busy trying to look like they've got everything under control. But the truth is, women don't want perfect, they want real. And when you show a little vulnerability, you give her a glimpse of your true strength. All right, let's move on to another psychology secret that most men completely overlook. Women desire you the most during moments of uncertainty. Now, I know that sounds counterintuitive, so let me explain. When things are too predictable, attraction tends to fizzle out. Think about it. If she knows exactly what you're going to do or say all the time, the excitement starts to fade. But when there's a bit of mystery, a little uncertainty, that's when desire starts to skyrocket. Here's why uncertainty triggers anticipation, and anticipation is a powerful psychological force. It keeps her guessing, keeps her engaged, and most importantly, keeps her thinking about you. But how do you create that sense of uncertainty in a way that feels natural, not manipulative? It's all about balance. For example, let's say you're texting back and forth with a woman, and she's getting used to you replying instantly every time. Eventually, she knows exactly when you'll respond, and the anticipation starts to fade. But if you occasionally mix things up, sometimes responding quickly, sometimes taking a little longer, she starts to wonder, what's he up to? Why hasn't he replied yet? That little bit of uncertainty keeps her thinking about you, and that's what fuels desire. Another way to create this effect is by keeping your plans spontaneous. Instead of planning every date down to the last detail, leave room for some unpredictability. Maybe you suggest grabbing dinner, but you leave the location open until the last minute. That keeps things exciting and adds an element of surprise. Remember, women desire men the most when they're kept on their toes, when they're not quite sure what's coming next. It's that sense of unpredictability that keeps her intrigued and makes her want more. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest attraction multipliers that most men underestimate: ambition. Women desire men the most when they see that you're driven by a sense of purpose. It's not about how much money you make or how many titles you have. It's about your drive, your passion, and your commitment to something bigger than yourself. Here's why this matters. Women are instinctively drawn to men who have direction. When a woman sees that you're ambitious and that you're actively working toward your goals, it signals to her that you're not stagnant. You're always growing, always evolving, and that growth is magnetic. Think about it like this: would you rather be around someone who's constantly improving, learning, and striving for more, or someone who's content with just coasting through life? It's the same for women. Ambition isn't just about your career, it's about having a clear sense of purpose in all areas of your life. It could be a personal project, a fitness goal, or even something as simple as learning a new skill. The key is that you're passionate about something and you're committed to growing. Women desire men who are on a mission. When you're driven by something bigger than yourself, it creates an irresistible sense of attraction because it shows that you're a man with direction. Here's one more psychology secret that almost every man misses: emotional challenge. Women desire men the most when there's an emotional dynamic that keeps things interesting. This doesn't mean playing games or being manipulative. It means creating a dynamic where she feels both connected to you and challenged by you emotionally. Women are drawn to men who aren't afraid to challenge them, not in an argumentative way, but in a way that stimulates their mind and emotions. For example, when she says something you don't necessarily agree with, instead of just nodding along, you push back lightly, playfully. You tease her or question her opinion in a way that's thought-provoking and fun. This creates a sense of tension, and that tension builds desire. It's about balance. You're not being difficult or contrary, you're simply showing her that you have your own mind and that you're not afraid to express it. Women find that emotional challenge exciting, and it keeps the attraction alive. 95% of men miss this because they think that to keep a woman interested, they have to constantly agree with everything she says. But real desire thrives on that emotional back and forth, that push and pull that keeps things exciting. All right, guys, let's wrap this up. What have we learned today? Women desire you the most when you're authentic, when you show a little vulnerability, and when you keep things unpredictable. They're drawn to men who are driven by ambition, and they crave an emotional challenge that keeps the connection exciting. Most men miss out on these key moments because they're too focused on the surface level, on looks, money, and status. But real attraction runs deeper. It's about who you are on a psychological and emotional level. So the next time you're interacting with a woman, remember these secrets. Be yourself authentically. Don't be afraid to show a little vulnerability. Keep her guessing, keep her intrigued, and most importantly, stay true to your purpose and ambition. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more insights like these, and drop a comment below on what you think is the biggest factor in attraction. I'll see you in the next one.